We met as children playing in the cemetery. In the manner of children, I did not ask her name, nor she mine. If my parents found it strange that I began to spend so much time there, among the toppled headstones and briars, they knew, as they so often told me, that I was a strange child. As long as I completed my lessons, they neither asked nor cared to know the details of how I spent my time. We played together all that long fall until the snow made the paths inaccessible. When I dashed back that spring at the first sign of thaw, she was not there. I despaired of ever seeing her again, but when I made flower crowns, I always made two, and I left one for her in our spot. The next fall, however, she returned, and we gathered red leaves and vines to weave into crowns, autumn together, spring and summer apart. By the time I was 13, and routinely ditching my tutors to lean against a headstone and write tortured verse, we had exchanged names. Her name was Lenore. If I found it odd that her name, first and last, featured on one of our favorite headstones, it was, after all, a very small and sleepy village where families seldom left and even more seldom came. I myself am named Elizabeth Amelia after a maiden great aunt who had not yet selected an heir when I was born. She died when I was 7. I did not inherit. By the time I turned 16, we spent our time together reading and talking. One day I handed her a dead leaf as I recited, "I am every dead thing in whom love wrought new alchemy. I am re-begot of absence, darkness, death, things which are not." "I am of that alchemy," she replied. "When the leaves fall, I rise." I smiled back, thinking it a dramatic way to explain her family's travel schedule, but wrote it carefully in the margin of my book. The day before my 17th birthday, we kissed. The day after my 17th birthday, I frantically sought her throughout the cemetery, my parents having announced the night before, to me and the assembled dinner guests, my engagement to the Honorable Edmund Graves, curate of this parish. She came toward me, her eyes huge. As I dodged among the tombstones, I did not notice Edmund following me. Edmund stepped between us and thrust his cross at her. "Show us your true visage," Edmund commanded. Lenore spun in place until she floated before us in a cloud of torn and stained fabric, her skeletal face covered with shreds of skin. She came toward me. Edmund pushed me behind him. "No," I shouted, flailing. As Edmund pushed at Lenore, trying to separate us, he shoved me sideways. I overbalanced and fell hard, striking my head against the corner of Lenore's headstone. "Monster," I whispered. Edmund cradled me tenderly. "She is a monster," he said. "I will protect you." I spat in his loathsome face as the world went black. We met as children, playing in the cemetery.